Excellent. So we do have notes. Well, please, yeah, grab a seat here, anywhere. And we are about to begin. Just let me get this here and bring this back here and put something up here for everyone, which is not that, but I just want to make sure we have, yeah, that's what I want to see at the beginning. We're live from the space station and we have, well, look at this. Here come the boys. Come grab a seat. Ron, nice to see you. Well, this is going to be, I think, a class that might just be remembered. I'm feeling good right now about the way things are unfolding in terms of people that I'm seeing, technology that's working, and everything else. So, everyone, welcome to our second last class of the semester, Humanities Destiny, what we call the penultimate class. That means second last. And today, it's all going to be about the final thing that you see on the list right here of topics that we have explored this semester in one way or another, from the future, history's lessons, not so much. The next big thing, sustaining it together on Earth, which is essentially the class about freedom and the future of freedom, science and religion, minimally, current event, a lot, space exploration, new worlds, third millennium, the human brain, and legacy. And normally in a semester, when there's not that much going on in the world that I think is relevant, then I will cover each of these topics each week and do a little lecture on each. And then we have an activity. But the space exploration story this semester to me was such a really good, kind of perfect storm situation, excuse the pun. And so I really wanted to explore that more deeply with all of you. But last week I tried in giving a kind of a lecture on the coming of the new mind, or what that new mind might be, that Jacob Bronowski had spoken about in the 1960s when the first Apollo missions were undertaken. And I tried to look at these different dimensions, particularly science and religion, in terms of what the new mind might be. But there were no real big conclusions, no earth-shattering insights in that class, but I think there were just some seeds that were planted for you to think about. And today I'm going to talk a little bit more about this idea of the new mind, but I'm going to be pretty brief about it because the big part of the class today is legacy. Legacy. And this is what it all comes down to at the end of Humanities Destiny. The semester is your vision of your future. So let me just tell you what's going to happen, and then we'll begin shortly. But first, I want to welcome some people, because I see some new faces here who probably have been in a distant solar system in this class watching the recordings or something like that, but you've come to this classroom today, this planet, from a distant place, and you've dropped in at the right time. So first, I just want to get some names, because I haven't seen this gentleman and this woman as well, but everyone else is a regular, as you probably have seen them before in the recordings. So are you okay taking a microphone this early in the class? Or if you've been watching the recordings, you've seen how kind of interactive it is. So here's what we're going to do is, this is working. Could you hold this like karaoke and just give us your name and what planet and what part of the universe you've come from?
Yeah, I was here in the very first class, but then I've been doing the online.
Yes.
My name is Jordan.
You're Jordan.
Yes.
This is Jordan Brown.
Yes.
Well, oh, you knew that. Well, then, wait. No, the other hand. Very good.
And says hello.
She says hello. His significant other, so to speak. Yeah, not well. It's happening. It's something good is happening there with Myrtle and Jordan. This is good. Um, it's great to see you in person. I forgot completely what you looked like from the first class, but now I remember.
Yeah. So my schedule. So I'm working. I work overnights, like 11 to 7 at a hotel doing a night audit.
Yes.
So the Wednesdays are unfortunately I've been not able to get sleep in those mornings because I had another class.
Yep.
And then because you had the option to like watch from home.
Absolutely. That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
So, but I did want to make sure to come to the last couple classes.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah.
Well, the work you've done, including your current discussion post that you just posted, I think I saw before I began the class today, have always been, um, as I expected, lots of insight, intelligent, on top of the big stuff, and helpful, I think, for other students to be reading. So thank you, for your contributions.
You open our minds to these discussions, so it's just good to kind of explore your mind and those concepts.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of us don't really have those philosophical deep thoughts like outside of these classes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's good to have for sure.
Okay. Well, you do with Myrtle, I'm sure. You probably talk about some
I
big
mean,
stuff.
Myrtle,
she's certainly welcome anytime.
I know.
That's great. Okay, so you all know Jordan from somewhere else, some other part of our solar system or beyond. And were you in a class early on, or is this the first in person?
This is the first.
Please introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Harshika.
Oh, you're Harshika. Good. Nice to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from a computer system technician program.
Yes. Good.
This is my last semester.
Hold just like karaoke so they can hear you, okay? In the cosmos, although it's not a busy cosmos today, as you can see. So it's going to be very much nucleus focus. But so have you been following the recordings and sort of enjoying the conversations and the
I was
content?
in the live classes.
Watch the live classes? Of
Yes.
course, sometimes you were in the cosmos. Good. Okay. Well, get ready, both of you today, to be thinking about legacy, because I'm going to be asking each one of you to put some skin in the game. It's an expression, skin in the game, a kind of a term from, I think, poker or something where you are going to have to put a little of yourself out there today for each of the students in terms of declaring your vision for your future, and to be able to declare in front of everyone, what would you like your legacy to be? Now, this is a very difficult, stressful thing for students to stand up in front of others and talk about the future in the way that I'm going to ask you. So just get ready. And if you don't want to come and speak, it's okay. Okay? But I'm going to be asking, come stand here and let's talk to the students about what you see your legacy. And we're going to explore that. Okay? So, okay, Dimitri is here, of course. He doesn't need to introduce himself. Just to say to all of you online and in the cosmos, from a standpoint of a teacher, to have students come in on their own when they're not even registered and participate and bring their insights only elevates the class even more. And so I appreciate Dimitri always coming in, Ryan as well, and Carol too, and any others who want to drop in. However, today we have Elizabeth, we have Angelique, we have Trinity, and we have Zed. And for these 5 students, so Jordan, Harshika, Ron, of course, number 3, Elizabeth 4, Angelique 5, Trinity 6, and Zed 7, you're going to walk out of here today, I think, really thinking a lot more deeply about what you just declared in front of everybody. And I hope it's going to be something meaningful for all of you, because there will be a record of this, a recording. We're going to write some things as well. And you're going to be walking out of a classroom today having explained in the best way you can, what would you like your legacy to be? But first, we have to understand what legacy is. And that's something I do want to talk about a little bit. Okay, so does anybody have any questions or anything that they would like to bring to the class's attention before I get some notes going with Trinity and make sure we get our list of presentations next week fully confirmed? So great, Trinity, go grab the pen, it's there, and you can swipe as always. And what I'd like to do is nail down, bolt down right now who are going to be the presenters next week, and the order of the presentations. And no, next week. Next week is the last class. Next week is absolutely the last class. So let's do this quickly because I really want to get into the legacy part, and I have a slight change of plans after just watching some of the selections of music that Dimitri and Elizabeth suggested as I was getting set up. I was planning to start, as I always do with this class on legacy, with Eminem's song, When I'm Gone. But I've seen some better music in the last half an hour from these two here from the massage department upstairs. They've drifted down, and as they always do. And here go. Ryan is going to want to suggest something. So you're going to have to compete with Ghost, with NF, and was there anybody else in there? And Ren, Hi Ren, which is a great song. Ryan, okay. Do you want to come into the nucleus? You're going to stay back there with the you're in the electron. He's floating around. He's the electron. He's always Ryan's floating around all over the campus. He's into all different things, always doing stuff. Okay, that's what you do.
I just wanted to say that I feel like the question of legacy is like, especially for me and Ron, it's been coming up a lot like lately. Like, you know, what are we kind of like pursuing outside of like the college space and like that?
Sure.
Essentially, almost like graduation without actually like graduation. Almost like graduation is just a concept in of itself, right? Graduating to a new phase of life, right?
Yep.
And I feel like that's an important part of legacy, or at least like that begins that legacy.
Yeah.
So I would say it's not necessarily the beginning of the end, but the end of the beginning.
Yeah, that's definitely a way of looking at it, the end of the beginning, but that can be daunting for some of you who are younger because now, you know, what's next? The beginning's done, now it's a new stage, and you're starting over or starting new. Maybe you're putting too much pressure on yourself about putting it into stages. But we'll talk about this. The idea is really to get you imagining and using your vision muscles, your imagination muscle, in a way that is as rigorous as possible today. Because as you've seen this semester with Humanity's Destiny, it's all about things that haven't happened yet. So it all comes down to your imagination and what you're going to make happen. And so now is the time to really. Okay, go ahead, Ryan, and then
I was just gonna add one more thing before I pass
Sure.
the microphone back. But I like that you mentioned like it's beginning of a new phase and there's like a lot of pressure. But some people like, you know, tend to like feel fearful of like, you know, oh, it's a new chapter, like we're starting almost from ground zero. And like that could be like, you know, frightening to some people, but it can also be empowering because you can look at it as like I could start from the beginning. It's clean slate. I have the ability to build what I'm gonna build for the first time.
Yep.
Like it's a lot of potential is there, and what you make of that is really a reflection of you.
For sure. And I'm going to ask Trinity to write down one piece of insight right now that I'm going to say, and I can only say this to Ryan because I like to challenge him and make him think. Ryan has mentioned tabula rasa. Tabula rasa is a term Latin for a clean slate. Tabula rasa, Tabula, rasa. And I'm going to just say, well, I'm just going to say and then RASA, and then we'll get to the presentation, just to put a little bit of a match underneath Ryan. I don't want to burn anything down right now. There is no such thing as a clean slate in life. It's called palimpsest. Any of you heard of the term palimpsest? It's when things get put over on top. So you're creating this palimpsest of, now you're going to layer over what was, and then you're going to, as you move on, you're layering on top of things. But you never get rid of things. You're taking through life. All of that has happened, and those memories and experiences just get more. But then you kind of layer on top this new thing. But there's no clean slate, in my experience. This is just my, okay? Well, we won't ask Trinity to write all of that in Latin right now, but let's hold that thought, okay? And then Angelique, no, go ahead. And then I see Jordan may want to say something, but we've got to get our presentations list going, and then we've got to really get going on legacy. Yes, go ahead, Angelique.
I was going to share something that I presented in my communications class. We had to bring in an object that was meaningful to us.
Yes.
And I kind of put together like a mini TED Talk, actually, which was I brought in my race medal from World's Toughest Mudder. And then
From where?
World's Toughest Mudder. It's a 24-hour obstacle course race.
Yes.
And I also did one in Whistler as well.
Really?
Yeah, I also did one in Whistler as well. And then I started out my speech with how I liked obstacle course racing, and then why I liked it, because it challenges you more than fitness. Especially with the toughest events, it challenges your mindset because they are repetitive laps. It challenges your mindset to keep going.
Yes.
And then I had this personal experience where I booked my race in Whistler for the 8-hour version of Toughest Mudder, where it starts at midnight and it goes to 8 a.m.
Toughest Mudders. You've got
Toughest
the
Mudder.
T-shirt on.
Oh yeah, this one is actually from it because I did my presentation from.
Lovely.
And I'm actually wearing the T-shirt from it. And I had this story where I was just like, I was gonna go and compete in this race, and then normally they have water. Like normally Tough Mudder has like water obstacles.
Yes.
But then when I looked at the location, someone mentioned how they're not gonna have water. And then I looked at the location. There's no lakes, especially in Whistler Olympic Park.
Whistler has snow.
Yeah, but this was in June. This was in June.
Less and less snow out there these days.
So
Yeah.
there was no ponds, there was no lakes, there was no rivers. So I didn't bring a wetsuit because the wetsuit is what keeps you warm.
Yep.
And then I was like, I don't need to bring this. But when I showed up to the event, they had actually man-made ditches in the ground, and they made pools of water. And I was gonna say, and they put ice in it.
Yikes.
And then I was gonna say, I think I can do it. And then so around like 3:00 in the morning, because it was an overnight race, I was just like, I am really, really, really cold. Really cold. But then the experience you take away from it, what you learn from it is you can't control your situation. You can't control your environment. You can learn from it, you can adapt to it, you can build resilience, adapt,
Yep.
and then move on and take from it and say, I'm not going to let this affect me. I'm going to have a growth mindset and overcome this obstacle. Despite what people tell me, you can't do it. You're crazy. And I was like, I can do it, and that was one of our topics was a growth mindset.
Well, actually, you've just given us a great term that we can put on the board in this class too,
Yeah.
which is growth mindset. And could you please write that down?
Mhm.
Trinity, growth mindset, because in terms of humanity's destiny,
Mhm.
in case you haven't noticed, we just keep growing more
Yeah.
and more out further and further
Yeah.
around the planet, off the planet, into the solar system and beyond. And
Yeah.
it has been said that, what we've been doing over these many millennia of developing and evolving is our horizons. The human brain has been growing and expanding,
Yeah.
and we're learning how to handle more and more and more.
And then, yeah.
It's
So
complex and
this-
it's overwhelming, but that's the human mind. The human consciousness is growing. But
Yeah. So
so
despite I was cold, it was windy, and I was going to say, this kind of sucks. Then I was going to say, but I'm going to complete my obstacle. I had a goal of 25 miles because you go with the goal of like having 5 laps per mile. I'm going to do 5 laps. And then, so I actually ended up doing 3 because I felt like I was going to hypothermia. But I was going to say the next time I come, I'm going to add 10 miles onto my next race. And that's actually exactly what I did. I went to Florida and I added 10 miles. I did 25 miles in Florida, but I did 35.
Well, can I just stop you for a sec?
And I did 35.
So I just want to remind everybody, in case they've forgotten, in case you don't remember from the recordings, are you familiar a little bit with Angelique's background story?
Oh, the Tough Mudder events?
Just about, her background, and the struggles that have been in her family with drugs and alcohol, and the stakes against her have been pretty high. And in some ways, she shouldn't be here talking about these things. She should be maybe somewhere else recovering like her family, but she's gone beyond. She has gone beyond. At least that's what I see. But I just want to stop for a second, because if I go down this creek and I paddle down with you too far, we're going to be in a forest somewhere. We're going to be in a new country, and we will have lost the ocean or the lake of the class, if you can live with my many metaphors going here. But hold your thought, because I'm going to ask you to channel that into your legacy. Okay? And it'd be very interesting to see how you're going to state in front of everybody how you see yourself in 40 years or 50 years. What do you want others to be saying about you? What do you want to leave behind for humanity in some big or small way? But let's move on, okay, for a second. And I want to make sure that we have that presentation list. So the first presenter, let me rewind for a second. Who will be presenting next week? Anybody in the nucleus here will actually be presenting? Maybe not. Maybe we'll get, okay, good. Okay, we've got, Ron, I would love it if you presented. And to really, put some real effort into it the way I know if you did, it would be great. But okay, you promise? Because that will nail something. I know you can. Okay, excellent. Okay, promise? You'll do it? Okay. So Ron is there. Okay. Do you want to present in front of the class, Harshika? You don't have to. But if you want to, now is the time to say, yes, I do. Oh yeah. You can submit a paper. You can make sure you read the third assignment sheet, because you have many options on how you. Okay, Jordan, what are you thinking? Yeah, you play the video and then you take questions. And what happens afterwards is I will hand out these cards to the audience, and they will write down their comments about your video, and then I'll hand them back to you. And you walk out of here with a great grade, but plus comments, feedback from everybody. So yes, the answer is, if you're going to make a video, you can present it and you'll get the bonus next week. Okay? If you want it, do you want to let me know? Do you want to just surprise us next week? Because let's see how it goes, okay? Because you probably have many other things you're doing right now in terms of, and I know this class, as much as it breaks my heart, is not that important to some of you. I know that. That's okay. You have many other things that are important, but I try hard to make it feel like this class, and the way it opens your mind, makes you a deeper, better thinker, is going to help everything in your life. But that's just me dreaming. Okay, well, that's pretty good. But don't worry. I just want to make sure that you know that I'm making an effort always to think that I know you have other things, and this is a class that helps the human part of you, and it doesn't matter what course you're in. Everybody needs to improve as a human, in my estimation. Well, okay, just hold on a second. But I've had presentations given in other class by students who weren't registered, but that was at the end, and they had to wait, but it was good. It was good, particularly when things are recorded. You can have that record. So, okay. So could you put down Jordan ? Okay, just Jordan. Definitely Ron, for certain. And I'm going to put some pressure on Ron for this. He's going to be the first presenter, because he's going to break the ice for everybody. And for that, he's going to get a fairly significant bonus. Okay. Harshika, could you put a question mark? Okay. No, he'll build, you'll burn. That's my impression of how it works. I think You're more the burn down. He's more the build up. Oh, you're on the far side? Okay. Okay. Trinity, do you want to, are you still doing your panels, the graphic novel part, or what are you thinking of doing? Do you want to present it to the class? Or, okay, Trinity question mark. Okay, Trinity question mark. There's going to be a lot of question marks, but Ron for certain. So Elizabeth question mark, right? I think I saw. Yeah, exactly. It's this I don't encourage is for you to stand up and just read from an assignment. It'll go on too long anyways if you're reading 1,400, 1,500 words, but you have to put some effort into the fact that you're making a presentation in front of people. And that has different expectations, okay? Good. Carol, if you want to give a presentation, we can put you with Ryan at the end. And if Dimitri wants to say, I mean, you think about it. Angelique, do you want to present? Okay, well, that's okay. You can, Angelique question mark. And then Zed? 70 yes, 30 no? Okay, 70-30 with a nice big Y by 70. That means, for those of you who are question marks, you still have to be here anyways, because there's no way that we can have a presentation class without an audience. So everyone who's here now, I'm expecting to see here next week, one way or the other, but it may be that in the end, the only presenter will be Ron in terms of officially, and that's okay. And then after that, we'll see how things are going. Ryan could present something if he wants to. Dimitri, if he wants to. Carol could present something. But what's critical is Ron, and that people are here to really support Ron. And so for the Cosmos, Julie, right now, I think you're the only other cosmic participant today. Did you just hear all of that, Julie, about the presentations? Are you there? Can you jump on your microphone and tell us? If not, that's okay, Julie. Hi, Julie.
I'm here.
Excellent. Julie, how is it going with your final assignment?
I have the beginning and the middle done. I just need the ending that we talked about.
Excellent. Okay,
And I'll be
so
able to get to the amount of words.
that's okay.
I will be able to.
Yep. Oh, you will? Excellent. And you know
Yes.
that when it's due, of course.
Yep.
And so you have an option next week of joining us here
Okay.
for the live presentations in the audience. If you would like to come and be part of the audience, you would get some bonus participation marks.
I think
Okay,
I
but
will.
that would be great. And it would be good to meet you in person at last.
Yes.
Very good, Julie. It's great
Thank
to
you.
hear. Yeah. Okay, so then we have a plan for next week in terms of the presentations. And finally, just before we move on to the main meal today, the legacy part, do any of you have questions about the presentation and what you expect it to be, or it's all laid out on the assignment sheet in terms of time, but Ron, okay, well, take a microphone because we'll do this together. So as we talk, others are going to learn from this. So if you do a presentation in front of the class, given that we probably are going to have less rather than more, I'm going to say 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, usually it's 8 to 10 minutes, but I'm going to boost it to 10 to 12 because I'm thinking we're not going to have that many. Okay.
That works. Thank you.
10 to 12 minutes. Now, the second thing, just to make sure we're clear, what do you think you're going to be doing when you stand up here? You don't have to give us the topic, but in terms of how you deliver this, what will we be seeing?
It'll be me reflecting on the wide range of subjects brought up in class as it relates to my own evolving perspectives around them.
I'm sure, and I'm sure it'll be excellent. You don't have to worry about the content right now. I just want to know, in terms of what we see, is it just going to be Ron standing here with a microphone?
Yes.
Is it possible? Now I'm going to
You want me to make a slideshow?
No, 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 no. I'm gonna challenge this student.
You want me to bring my guitar? I could.
Yes, I do.
right.
Now, it helps to get to know students a little bit because I'm going to really challenge him now. That you actually compose a song that you sing for your presentation, and you play it and you perform it.
A week? Oh, that's
and
all
You
right.
have to be satisfied. If you feel that it's kind of not very good, and you're just slotting in all sorts of stuff that you think Lon needs to hear in the lyrics, don't do it.
Oh, I'm not going to do
You
that.
can do something that has the depth and of some of the lyrics I've been hearing it already today, like High Ren, but that's a different situation. But do you have enough time to compose something?
Takes me about half an hour really to write them. So yeah,
Sounds like these things just fall out of the tree like a ripe apple, or
they do.
but the apples had to be growing for a while, right?
And you need to be Isaac too.
Okay. So, and are you ready for the comments that the students will have too afterwards and the discussion we're going to have?
Sure.
I mean, he is a songwriter, and he definitely knows how to perform. So this is not an unusual challenge. But writing good sentences, lyrics can take time. But okay,
It'll be 3 minutes.
10 minutes. You'll perform, and I'm expecting to see in there, in your own way, the course content. But you have to do it your way. As long as I can feel that what you're singing about is about the future of us humans, and that in it is a vision, you've met the requirements for the final assignment.
I think I've already written a song like that, but I'll give it a go. It'll be 3 minutes though. I'm not going to do a 10-minute rush number.
Okay, so we have. Should we be selling tickets to this because it's going to be Ron's show next week?
Just pay me with cigarettes.
Very good. I'm starting to like and look forward to this class.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so does anybody have any other questions about presentations and what I'm expecting to see? Ryan?
What would be the parameters for like students who are not enrolled in terms of what they can actually do? Because obviously we're not marked on it.
I would say 10 minutes. But the reason I encourage students who are not enrolled to do this, and for the students who are enrolled to be there and listen, is because the students who are not enrolled, as you've seen this semester, actually have quite a bit to say. And so if Dimitri were standing up here and giving his vision, and Ryan and Carol all not registered, these are students, these are human beings who can provide some insight that I can't. So I think it would be worth your while to hear what they have to say.
Right, but would you
So
like
10 minutes.
Right, but is there any parameter around how to present that? Like, do we?
Since you're not ready, you can just come and take the microphone and talk, but keep
reflect.
reflect. But you gotta nail your time.
Yeah.
Because I notice some students when they do that, 10 minutes goes by and they realize they're just beginning because they're thinking too much. They don't really know how to think on their feet yet, so they're just all over.
Write a brief, type out a.
I would rehearse it, Ryan. I would really rehearse it. It's not your show. You're not here to, all right. You gotta. This
episodes in 20 minutes or something like that. But obviously, I'll have to tune in.
Yeah, I don't want. And also, we don't want to take it. There's students here who are registered, and they don't want to be sitting here for 30 minutes listening to a student who's not like. We've got to respect their time too. Okay, so 10 minutes. Okay, now that Harshika. What's that? 10 to 12. Yeah, so try to get it at 10. Leave a couple of minutes for in case something happens. Okay, Harshika?
Yeah. So do we have to give us our presentation in class and show our slides to everyone and speak?
Yes, if there were a presentation, I would be asking, not in Ron's case, because he's going to be composing and performing, but for a normal presentation, I would be asking for some kind of PowerPoint or Prezi behind you, just to help you with the structure, with critical information. But what I would not be asking you to do is stand and read bullet points, because everybody is going to run for the door at that point. They'll be out of here faster than we can say, Ron. That's the worst thing to do in a presentation. But unfortunately, this is how a lot of education is done today, Harshika, is a lot of educators default to, here comes the PowerPoint, read the bullet points, and there's just no class. It's snort. And PowerPoints have killed a lot of education and presentations everywhere in the world. But there's a way to do a PowerPoint presentation that is really good. And what I'd recommend is go to a website called SlideShare. They have the best PowerPoints from around the world. And essentially, each slide should be very minimal information, just critical information. But you are talking to everybody as you're clicking through the slides. You never look at the slides. You look at the people. But so you memorize, but you don't stand and read like that.
So that slide that we are showing here, we have to submit it into the DC Connect.
Yes, you would. Yeah, in advance. Okay. All right. Let's go to some music now to get us a little bit inspired for the critical part of today's. And I'm just going to make a. Well, now what is she up to? This is live in the International Space Station right now. What is she doing? This music? This is an astronaut. Yeah, she's another. She's not Christina Koch, who was in the Artemis. I have no idea what they're up to, but hold on a second. Is she speaking? Let me get some audio here. We're going to do that for sure. I don't know what she's up to, but. Interesting. We can't get audio. The audio there is it's music that we're getting from that side. But anyways, it's very interesting today. I've never had the space station singing inside. Usually it's the camera going around the planet. You know what they're probably trying to do? Outdo the 4 astronauts on Artemis 2 who become superstars now, floating around in their capsule, right? Now they want to show the world that they are just as cool and techy and yeah. Okay, so first, let's watch a little music, and then after we're going to get a precise definition of legacy, and then we're going to have a few students come up and talk about what they think their legacy should be. So, what music should I play? Because here, I'll show you what was happening when I walked in today. Just a second. It started with this. I'm not going to play it. But Eminem, I was planning to play When I'm Gone. Billy Joel? Keep that in your mind right now. Okay, just a second. But then I looked at this song Legacy that someone had recommended by Eminem, and it didn't quite grab me.
Mhm.
And so I just kept it there. And then as I'm playing this music, Dimitri and Elizabeth come in, and I think Elizabeth said, why don't you take a look at High Ren? And I watched it and thought, oh, this is good. This is better than Eminem. The songwriting is better, I thought. And it's more authentic and more ordinary. I mean, Eminem, it's all about fame, but here's a guy, he looks like he's just been sitting in a psychiatric ward, and he's talking about how he overcomes his own craziness. Very normal, very real, and it was really good. So we have to decide what song to show that would be appropriate. Angelique?
I kind of one of those speech songs. It's called "Everyone's Free to Wear Sunscreen." It's a famous paper um, written by a university student, and it's a song of all advice. And then the last line in the speech is actually the hook, but I won't give it away.
Okay, it's called. I'll just.
Everyone's free to wear sunscreen.
Now, does it speak to the future?
It does actually. It tells you what's happening now and later, and then it gives you advice. It's actually. Has anyone heard of this? It's famous. It was actually in a car commercial.
Ooh, okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna tee it up for a second, but I've gone into the wrong place. I know that I do this sometimes.
That one is actually the one that's on the right side there. Yeah,
okay.
that's that one. That's that one.
I'll leave it here for now. Does it in it have any sense of? Do we see young people in it? We do. Young and old. Okay. How long is it? 5 minutes. I'm going to leave it there for a moment. I'm going to suggest, just to make a suggestion. Jordan, go ahead. What's your song? As in the Holocene era? Like not Anthropocene? Yeah, okay. Yes. Holocene. That's the old era. Oh, so this speaks to humanity as a whole now. Holocene. I'm getting a bigger vision here. It's not just about a person. It's about a person in a world. Like there's a world. I mean, I think. I'm going to suggest we try that because this is very much on focus in terms of what I was talking about and trying to help you to understand about our destiny is that we are in a transition. We are living through this transition right now from the Holocene to the Anthropocene. And this is not pie in the sky crazy talk. The Anthropocene is very real. There are scientists now around the world who are very determined to have humanity rename the time we're living through. And the reason is because so much plastic is now being found in the rocks. Plastics takes a long, long time to degrade, as you know. And so it's been determined that hundreds and hundreds of years from now, maybe thousands, when people start to look at the geology of the planet, they will find this plastic. And they will ask, who put it there? And the answer will be, the humans did, not nature. And so that's why we are saying more and more that the Anthropocene, the human age that we are entering, should now be a geological description for the entire planet's evolution. We humans are impacting the natural world to such an extent that our garbage is staying in the planet for a long, long time. And that affects the planet's future. So it's very important when you mentioned the Holocene, okay? There will be some crazies, I'm sure, who will determine, let's take the garbage to another place. But that would be very irresponsible. Wouldn't it, Ryan? Yeah. A lot of humans out there who don't want to deal with the problems they've created. Ron?
The first song that came to mind regarding the question of destiny was Buddy Holly's Every Day. You know, because I think it digs at this universal primal thing around
Terrific.
what motivates people, which is, you know, love.
Well, let's start with Jordan's choice.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have time for that. I don't think we'll have time for High Ren and for Ghost, but we might have time for something. But let's see what Holocene says about the future and about destiny, okay? And then we'll see. But critically, it's about legacy now, okay? This is about you have to be, I hope, inspired or impacted in some way by the music that it's going to be making you think more deeply about what your vision is for the future. And I know Buddy Holly would be terrific, but hold your question, okay? Because I want to make sure we've got time. Oh, sure, sure. No, it's not bad too. Let's go to Holocene. I'm very interested to see how the group, and this is Bon Iver? Bon Iver. Okay, let's get, and for those of you in the Cosmos, which is Julie, go, if you would like to watch the video we're about to, just go to YouTube and the official video of Bon Iver, Boniver, it's called Holocene. And just to remind all of you, in case you've forgotten from last week, the Holocene was the era that began with human civilization about 13,000 years ago on planet Earth. And that was just after the Ice Age ended, the last Ice Age. The ice melted, moved north and south, opening up the rivers, more water in the world warmed up, civilizations began to grow around the rivers. We called that the Holocene, but it had to do with not humans, it had to do with the Ice Age ending. All of these geological definitions for the planet's history have always been related to the Earth changing. But now, 13,000 years later, we're saying because the Earth and nature is changing more and more because of humans, we should have a new designation for the first time in the history of everything on this planet. And that would be that the creatures on this planet, we humans, are changing nature now. It's not God. We should call it the Anthropocene. Human change. Everyone understands that, right? Yes? Okay. So let's hear the Holocene. And just a second, Tech. Don't start doing this, Tech. No. Tech has to behave. Tech has to be dominated by the human. Ron, that is a lifelong struggle. That is a life. Okay, so forget it. We're going to our default. It playing the video, okay? But I need to make sure the Cosmos. Remember, there are a lot of asynchronous students. So, guys, here we go. This is Jordan Brown's choice for our legacy video. Here we go. it's great to see from the standpoint of an older person here, myself, that the younger generation or the students are seeing beyond the violence, the mess, and the destruction of the present, and they're yearning for deeply something beyond that that is going to be about preservation, about beauty, about connecting with nature. And maybe we will have to continue to turn to the First Nations and Indigenous peoples to learn more about how to interact with nature. But I get that sense that, you know, there's a dream in here of let's get back and really connect with the miracle and beauty of the natural world a little bit. Yeah, it's there. If we could just do that, and it does remind me of some other things, but I'll stop for a second. Hold your thought, because I want to get the legacy for a moment. A definition of legacy, in a very simple term, it's what is the long-lasting impact? What will be the long-lasting impact of your actions while you're alive? What will be the long-lasting impact of your actions while you're alive? And what I'm asking you to think about is to imagine yourself nearing the end of your life. It's not an easy thing to do if you're younger, because you don't really do that. You know, you live more in the moment, and it does take a little bit of a leap, a little bit of a, you know, a fearlessness to at least entertain in your mind the idea of yourself as an old person. But I'm going to ask you to do that just for the moment. No matter how old you are right now, young or not so young in this class, and imagine what would you want people to be saying about you at the end. Sometimes when I do this activity, what I get are a series of epitaphs, you know, what people would write on their tombstones. We'll see. We can always do that, but we'll try to get beyond that. But I'm going to ask you, each of you, the ones who are registered, starting with Jordan, over here, we'll go clockwise, to stand up here, take the microphone, and actually envision in front of everybody yourself in at 100. Let's assume that you're going to be 100, because people are living so long. My mother died, she was 95. The people in her unit where she was living, you know, it wasn't uncommon to encounter someone who was 102, 103 there. The quality of life was not so good. You might want to question, why are they even alive at this point? But they were still alive. But okay, 100 years. You stand up here and you're thinking, what do you want people to be saying about what you did?
So for me, I would say at 100, I would hope that my actions are a positive force in the world versus just something that I want. For me, like, legacy is kind of a double-edged sword. It's people obviously do want to have a good legacy that they're remembered for something great. On the other hand, there's some people who have power who want to ensure their legacy will never be forgotten, and they don't necessarily care about if it's seen in a good light or bad light. I envision myself at 100, just having those small actions that do over time. For example, planting trees, or if I do have a family, that my family is better off than I was at their age, and you know, just trying to make the world a better place for the next generation. That's essentially what I foresee a good legacy as myself having. I don't have any concrete like ideas of what it would be exactly, but that's if I died knowing that I had an impact positively on the people around me, and people look back at me and smile and miss me, then that's my goal.
Can I ask you to define what positive means as compared to not positive?
Positive.
Positive impact. What does that mean?
Yeah. So, for example, ensuring that we do more for the planet, nature wise, or just instilling good values on the people that you care about, making people's lives easier versus negative, like a negative legacy would be, again, I just think of everything Donald Trump is doing. And for him, I think that is his number one thing he cares about is having himself be in the history books for forever. And he doesn't really care about the if it's a positive or negative impact. Yeah. So I think positive, it's more you are trying to help others. Negative, it's you're trying to help yourself.
Yeah. Can I ask you finally, and then we'll take a question. Why did you choose this video? Why did you suggest it?
Well, for me, I think it's a beautiful song. The my interpretation of like the song is just it's about being okay with, again, we're one of 8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of us have more of an impact than others, but just having the acceptance that it's okay, we are small, still just wanting to have a positive impact.
Positive impact. And this, well, let's see what others think. Anybody want to comment here before we move along? But this is not easy. We're asking each of you, and Jordan is the first one, to think on your feet about a very big question that you may never think about again, like this, in front of others. Certainly in school, you won't. So, I know this isn't so easy. Ryan, you want to say? Yeah, I know. It's okay. I've learned, Ryan, that a lesson plan never is achieved even half of what I want. As long as the students were engaged and learning, it's good. So I'm ready to throw out everything as long as you guys are actually engaged and concentrating and not disappearing into TikTok and all those other places. So, okay. Well, thank you very much for coming up, and thank you. Well, we're going to move along here. I know Angelique wants to tell us something, and I've been telling her no because I want to make sure we have all others, but for sure you're going to come up shortly, okay? I just want to make sure, because I know what you're going to say is going to be very interesting. Who's ready to come and just do? Excellent. Okay. Elizabeth, and then Ron, and then Angelique, okay? Angelique will close, but we'll see. Zed, do you want to say anything? Are you? Okay, Elizabeth, come up, because Ron's already had to be under the gun here. Okay, so you know the drill here. And so 100 years.
If I was alive at 100 years old, in terms of what I'd want people to say about me, I would
Legacy.
I would hope that they're not talking about me very much and they're living their own lives. And that's sort of the whole thing. I hope that I'll be able to lift people up to the point where they don't need me anymore and they can stand on their own 2 feet. And if I can do that with a lot of people or significantly for just a few, then that would be really amazing for me.
So the legacy would be, and here comes the epitaph, but this is just the beginning. She lifted people up. What does that mean?
In my experience so far is just help other people become more comfortable with themselves and become, sounds cliche, but the best possible version of themselves, And I was actually having a conversation about this with someone yesterday, but yeah.
And don't you want to make some money?
Enough to survive and support my want to help people, yes.
Wow. Where does this desire in the human being come from to actually help another human being? It doesn't
Leading
have to
conflict
be religion.
and pain.
And Ron, you made a very good point last week when you asked about art. And I wanted to get to that, you know, because I could see you said, well, what about art as opposed to religion as a place where we express our love?
I
But
can comment on
we'll
that.
get to that, okay? Remember? You said? Yeah, it was good. But Elizabeth, so where is this coming from? This thing? Who gave it to you?
It's more, yeah, maybe it's evolutionary. That's what Dimitri's. For me,
That would be
it's
nice. Dimitri, maybe it's evolutionary. Oh boy. Well, go on. Let's see if Elizabeth, how she answers this. Go ahead.
I don't like conflict in general, not just interpersonal, but like someone who's conflicted within themselves. And I also it really annoys me when there is a fairly obvious solution to something and someone's just ignoring it because it's uncomfortable. So when I can help a person be more comfortable facing things and growing themselves, then it just makes me feel good. So yes, it's altruistic, but it's also selfish because I'm doing it because it makes me feel good. Yeah.
Here's part more of the epitaph. She never was afraid to listen to a person who is in conflict. In fact, she said she didn't like conflict, but as a matter of fact, she seemed to have a way of healing it. Is that fair?
Too early to tell.
Okay. Anybody want to comment on Elizabeth's legacy? And even ask a difficult question like, is this even possible? How about that? Or is this just a crazy dream? And the world is going to beat you down and you're going to become like everyone else, cynical, angry, you know, kind of just grinding it through and complaining about how everything in the world is not the way I was told it would be. And you'll just get on with your life. You don't want to be like that. Do you?
Help or being able to lift people up is what makes, no, it's part of what makes life interesting for me. So I probably won't ever not do it. Not a lot of double negatives, but.
Where that comes from, we'll leave that as a mystery. Okay, Dimitri? Where that desire comes from, it seems like we all, to some extent, have it. Don't we? Don't we? Doesn't every human, everyone in this room, every human right now has just in varying degrees a desire to lift as opposed to beat down? Unless we suppress it and are afraid of it, or let's hear from Jordan.
I think everyone innately does have that desire. And then you just have to also realize that some people's convictions aren't as strong as others. So some people are easily swayed over power or money, and that can often make them ignore what they originally wanted to do in life. And so as long as you believe that you have that strength, then I think it is possible.
Well, I'd like to help you with this thought, and I'll come to Ryan to put something down to help all of you with this idea of lifting people up and the forces that work against us to make this possible. You may have heard of this dictum. It's been going around a lot lately from ancient Athens, and it goes something like this. The strong do what they can, and the weak suffer what they must. The strong do what they can, and the weak suffer what they must. And that's just the way the world is. How depressing. What's that? No. No, she's just writing this down in general. What I'm trying to help you to understand is the desire and the impulse that is so pure in Elizabeth and all of us to lift up does eventually come up against this belief that is out there always, that in the end, the strong do what they can and the weak suffer what they must. No matter how much you try to help, the strong are going to come in and just run roughshod over all of you and all of the good things, and we, the weak ones, will just have to suffer it out. There we go. A redefinition of strength. That might be part of the new mind. Thank you very much, Dimitri. It's beautiful. Yeah, maybe we have a completely backward, old-fashioned view of strength in the human. Strength is in the bamboo that bends with the wind. The strength is not in that strong, firm tree trunk that breaks as soon as the wind hits it. The strength is in that water that just sort of flows and adapts. And the strength is in the gentleness. The strength is in the gentleness that is able to remain gentle no matter what you throw at it. No matter how much wind and how much you pummel it, it's always gentle, always soft. Ron, what's that? Tai Chi? Yeah.
I was gonna say about, well, originally I was gonna respond to Elizabeth's thing, but maybe I'll say that part after. Just comment on your thing about strength. But a lot of the times, the way I see strength is more about like worthiness within oneself, and like strength is something anybody can acquire, but are you worthy within yourself to acquire that thing? So maybe the quote about the strong do what they can and the weak
suffer what they must. Yes.
Is because they have an inability to actually confront themselves. So it's not about oh, you can never have this because you don't have the potential to. It's that you're choosing not to at some level.
You're choosing not to, yeah.
And just in relation to Elizabeth's thing, I feel like this comes back around. I really liked what she said because I've said this to Ron quite a bit over the past few, maybe even the past year, about standing on your own 2 feet. Just like everybody should stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah.
So.
And be prepared when the wind is going to hit you to just bend, don't break.
Tai Chi.
Yeah.
Dimitri said it'd be like the water.
Well, got to tell you, the ancient Asian culture has a lot to teach Western culture, but ancient Eastern culture has a lot to teach, but it goes both ways. East and West have a lot to teach each other. Okay. We have 10 minutes left. Ron is going to be speaking next week and has a big presentation. So I'm going to suggest that we're down to 2 now, just for the sake of time. And I think Zed should speak, and then Angelique, or Zed last, Angelique first. But once one of you starts, keep in mind that the other will follow, and we have to hit our time in 15 minutes or so, 10 to 15. So, Angelique, let Zed go last. Give him, so he can hear everybody and get comfortable with this, okay? Is it okay? Because I gotta watch time and everything. So, Angelique, why don't you come up? Okay, so I see Julie now has actually unmuted her. This is a big first, Julie, that a student has actually unmuted their video and hasn't been even asked to do that. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Julie. Very good. Okay, so Angelique, go ahead and Julie, just give a thumbs up if you can hear us clearly, right? You're hearing all of this? Yeah, good. Okay. So Angelique, your legacy, 100 years. 100 years.
My legacy was my video was based on learning from advice, but learning from it in a way that you don't recycle it and just wipe off the ugly parts. You actually learn from it, kind of thing, right? And then the video that it's like a famous speech that actually helps you feel good.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that's how you could actually look at life, like not look at the positive as opposed to less negative.
What did you do as opposed to what you felt and what you thought? What did you actually do?
When?
In your life. that is worthy of being called a legacy, and that others would say her actions, look at what she did. Doesn't have to be big stuff. What did you actually do?
What I did was my inspiration is like when I was a kid, I grew up cross country running. So that was kind of my sport as I did. And I grew up with that type of mentality of kind of just keep going kind of thing, right? And rely on yourself. And like my sports that I did were like independent sports.
Mm-hmm.
So course racings, they're independent sports. You have some obstacles that require somebody else, but the majority of the time they are independent sports. And that is a really, really, really difficult way of life of doing things. Like, but I'm proud of myself for doing that. Actually, I didn't really have like a whole lot of parent support. I didn't have a lot of siblings.
That's right. That's right.
And I sometimes you have those days where it's just like life sucks, but then you can turn it around and say, I'm going to develop this as growth and learn from it and move on.
What did you do for others?
For others is I would say being an inspiration of me being by myself, and others can look at me of like, oh, she did it by herself. I can do it by myself.
Oh.
Kind of thing, right?
So she was able
Mhm.
to deal with anything that life threw at her
Mhm.
without seeking the help of anybody else.
Well, I did seek help, but well, to an extent, but I didn't have that catered to me as some people did. I know it's like kind of the wrong word.
No, that's okay.
But,
That's okay.
I have seeked help, but a lot of it was do it on your own kind of thing. Like you would ask for it, and then it was just kind of thrown back at you saying, I'm not going to help you. You know, like do it by yourself.
Mm.
So that was kind of my reaction, even as a young child, when I did seek help, but a lot of it was just like, no. And then, despite of that, I'm still a good person, still standing here today, still positive and upbeat and resilient and kind, passionate.
But may I say
Yes.
something? I'm going to issue a challenge. I'm going to say something a little bit difficult, but it's only said in the aid of learning together and understanding. But you're alone in all of this. Where is everybody else?
I would say sometimes I get jealous of other people. I'm like, huh, so many others have someone else.
Yes, yes.
And then I'm like, well, I guess it's a good thing that I'm by myself, so people can have that example of like you can be by yourself. You can stand on your own 2 feet.
Yes, yes, yes. And you never became cynical.
Sometimes
She never became cynical. She never became someone who complains about the rest of the world. She was able to manage everything herself, no matter what. And she never said, look at what the world did to me and how terrible it is. She always smiled. She was always positive. Is that fair?
yeah, I would say that's the history of obstacle course racing as well, where you can complain about it in the moment and be upset about it. 'Cause
Yes.
that's natural and human. But I overcame it. You know, sometimes I'm upset of situations that happened years ago, and then time heals all.
Yeah.
Like I am still pretty uptight about the situations I've been in,
Yeah.
but I never turn to drugs. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't hurt people. I don't break the law. I don't do any of those things, which are good things, and I am
Yeah.
proud of myself.
You stay pure.
Yes.
Where the hell that came
absolutely.
from? Again, some kind of
It's
mystery.
Angel.
What's that?
It's Angelique is French for angel.
Angel.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, well, I would love for you to be able to explain more about where this comes from, but
Mhm.
for now, we'll stop. Jordan, you want to say something? And then we're going to go to Zed, and we're going to conclude, okay?
Mhm.
Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna. This conversation on legacy reminded me of a movie. I believe it came out in 2007 or 2008. It's called Man from Earth.
Oh, I have heard of it, yes, and I saw parts of it. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Remember,
So
go on.
I don't want to spoil the. Well, I'll say the brief
Sure.
synopsis.
Yep.
It's about essentially a discussion between a group of like scholars, they're professors, and
Yes.
one of them is leaving, and he decides to tell these people, his colleagues, his secret is that he's been alive for 15,000
Yeah,
years.
that's right. 50 since the beginning of civilization, or pre. Wait, yeah.
Yeah, and it turns out he is the
I remember this.
he is actually a main historical figure in a religion.
Like a Jesus, if you will, or a Buddha, or Muhammad, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and so having him explain what his intentions were and what his actions were during that time, and then having that be misinterpreted and just kind of bastardized and to where it is now is completely different.
Different from what he intended.
So
Yeah.
sometimes your legacy, even if you have the best intentions and really did do great actions over time, that can be skewed and warped into something that you never intended.
But Angelique never got skewed. Isn't that interesting? You never got skewed. I don't know where that comes from. All I can say is maybe we just clap a little bit and we got to finish. But if we could have more time, I would. Okay. Come, Zed, and tell us. Okay, thanks so much, Angelique, for always sharing these things with us through the semester. There's a lot of teachable stuff in what you've gone through and what you. She had more difficulties than others, and yet, for some mysterious reason, she never got skewed. Okay. All right. So Zed, you're the final one, and just tell us what you feel at 100 you would want others to say about your actions. But just start. Go ahead.
I would say my legacy should be that I am myself. That's how people would perceive me, and I did the right thing that I thought was right, and not skewed by other people's perception, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I feel like legacy isn't something you can create, it's other people's perception towards you, right?
Yes.
And it can always be
Yes.
skewed because people's perception is limited. So I think you should just forget about legacy and be yourself, and that's how you can create your legacy.
But you raise a very difficult, complicated idea, which is the right thing.
Yeah.
So what is that?
The right thing that I think is not what other people think, but what I think is right, and I should do what I think is right.
So what does Zed think is right? What right things did he do? What actions did he take?
I would say I want to do
right,
good
not wrong,
things and help people, but I don't want to be remembered as a person who is helping other people. I just want to be remembered as a person that is genuine. That's it.
That's genuine.
Yeah.
But what if you're genuinely cruel?
Then that's your legacy.
It's not a very good legacy. You're not a cruel person, but what if you just are genuinely a violent person and you just can't control that, and you simply accept that you will always be violent and cruel, so we'll just put you away in prison? Or
I think if I was violent or cruel and I would think about legacy, I would act as if I was a good person, and that wouldn't really change how I impact the world. It would just impact my legacy, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So yeah, if I'm a good person, my legacy would automatically be a good person. I don't have to act or think about my legacy.
And where does this desire to be good come from? Your parents?
No.
Your culture?
Probably. But I think the happiness you get from helping other people is what gets me going. So.
Is that your religion speaking?
Yeah, I'm quite religious.
What's your religion?
Islam.
Oh, really? But I'm a Jew and I feel the same way. So then maybe it's not the religions. We both share the same thing. I'm not a
Muslim. I didn't
Muslim.
say about religion. I said like it's more about culture or myself, like alone, I would say.
But I want to do good too.
Yeah, but I don't want to be recognized as like doing good, if that makes sense.
Oh,
I just want to do good. That's
humble. You don't need the attention. You don't need what so many people need when they jump on social media, like the President of the United States, and talks at us 24/7. along with many other people who just can't shut up.
Yeah.
You don't need that. Wow. Huh. That's amazing. That's strength.
I think so.
That was strength of Zed, that he could act in what he believed was good and right. And he didn't need anyone to say, you are good and you are great. He didn't need any attention. He just did it. He didn't need the attention for it. Oh boy, is that strength, Zed. Because, my God, we all want attention to some extent. It's normal. But deep down, nope. Genuine, authentic, it's there. I don't want to give Trinity a wrist ache. But I think we are concluding now. And unless Harshika, you want to say anything? You don't have to, okay? Because the fact that you came today is great. In person, that's all. But Zed, thank you very much for, and Angelique, you know, Zed, God, okay, thank you. And Ryan, Dimitri, Harshika, Jordan, as always, for the great choice of this, and Carol and Julie for unmuting. And I think that for everyone, I can only say that I'm really looking forward to Ron's voice next week, because I have to say I did a very selfish thing today in this class, so I must confess. It has been on my mind for some weeks. Ron, I know, sings, but I've never heard him sing, and I wanted to hear him sing at some point. I did, but I didn't know where I could go and hear him, and I thought maybe one day if I go to Ryan's show, maybe he'll sing something, but I never really pursued it, and then I forgot about it. But then today it came back at just the right time. Now I get to hear you sing. Well, I know, and I know you performed before in the pit, and so I'm finally going to see this side of you that I haven't seen yet, and I know is so meaningful to you because of the way you've expressed your understanding of music, art, and everything associated with that. You have a real understanding of what that creation can be when you are artistic, when you are an artist, which you are. I know, and I know you suffer too for it, and which is even better. That gives us depth to some extent, but anyways. So next week, if you're not here, and you're not here, you're not going to get your bonus for this in-person part. If for some reason you can't make it, would you please let me know via email? So otherwise I'll expect you're going to be here. But if you can't and there's a real emergency, let me know, okay? But I want to make sure Ron has a good audience. Okay? And anybody else who decides they walk in next week and they go, Elizabeth goes, oh, I'm going to present. Harshita, yep, I'm going to do it. And Jordan might even decide, yep, I'm going to jump in. Elizabeth? Nope. Nope. Just read the instructions. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email, okay, and I'll help you. Okay, everybody, have a great week. And I'll see you for our final class next week. And I hope whatever exams you're working on now or assignments that you do really well. Okay? Yeah. Ryan, if you come, you're going to have to say something at the end, 10 minutes only, but let's hear it. Yeah, you're good. Dimitri, same, if you want. Okay? It's up to you. Yeah. Oh, all right. Can you sing? Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. Julie, do you want to talk to me about anything? Or you can just send me an email if you need to, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. So we're going to sign out here. Take care. Okay, Julie? And we'll see you soon. Okay. And? Yeah. All right. Let me get save first the live chat. Not much in there today. Just go through my drill here so I don't lose anything. Trinity's notes are there.